been knocked out, for Arsenal having been knocked out of the UEFA Champions League, Andrea Bartha is really he's still assessing the Arsenal squad and is like, I want to obviously come up with a proper solution for what is obviously gonna take Arsenal to where they want it to be. And one of the players they're really looking at is a player known as Rodrygo, the Brazilian, who we all know that he might leave Real Madrid, and he's one of those players that maybe Xabi Alonso might not need into his squad. We now know that Xabi Alonso is obviously going to be the coach of Real Madrid, and he has obviously going to hate to confirm to the people at Bayern Leverkusen that he's leaving. And with Ancelotti obviously leaving Real Madrid, we all know to it that the guy is coming in through, and Rodrygo is one of those players that might be really disposed of by the side of Real Madrid, and I'm going to be letting you the reason as to why he's going to be really disposed of. And Arsenal is also losing another player for free, that he is a player known as Jorginho. However much they wanted to sign him during the January transfer window and it failed, but they've finally gonna hit obviously gate the deal of Jorginho done and dusted, and here we go, has been sounded. Continue to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are, and continue to obviously subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more you really give us the best vibes that you people will really keep us doing you the best of really presenting you the stories as they come in. Now, who came up with this story at first? It's none other than I think it's a Brazilian source. You know, it's a source coming in from Brazil, and he goes by the names of Rodra, you know, and he works for Relevo. He has told us that Arsenal in recent days have inquired about Real Madrid's Rodrygo. Price is close to 100 million euros. Now, I'm one of the people who made this statement that if you want to go far and start competing with the big boys, they are sacrifices that you're supposed to be making. And one of those sacrifices is to come up and obviously put in a very, 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 very huge shift. And that shift is all about seeing the side of Arsenal signing what we call world-class players. If you talk about world-class players, Rodrygo is one of those. And by the way, he's really a multi-talented player. I've been one of those who has obviously urged teams to obviously go in for purposeful players, and Rodrygo is one of those. Rodrygo can play as a right forward, he can play as a left forward, he can play as a center forward, he can play as a central attacking midfielder, and that what really makes him a very important signing for the club of Arsenal. And if the inquiries have been made by Andrea Bartha, obviously he knows how good he is, as for the time he spent at the side of Atletico Madrid, Rodrygo was one of the biggest problems that he faced. Remember, Rodrygo joined Real Madrid in 2019, and he's still playing for Real Madrid, and he's really a young lad. He's just 24 years of age, if you never knew, and very many people are like, why is Real Madrid trying to sell this player, and how come Arsenal really inquiring about the player? An inquiry made by the club of Arsenal, that means that maybe the agent has been told by Real Madrid that maybe we don't have this player in your plans, you know. And which player we're talking about? We are talking about Rodrygo. And why don't they have Rodrygo in their plans? One, a new manager is coming in through, and I've gonna hate to obviously see to it that a story is running that Adagula is a favorite to obviously play into the system of Alonso. And the system of Alonso is a 3-4-3 system. And when you look at that side of Real Madrid, that means the manager will be having Vini, Mbappe, and Adagula as his favorites to obviously play into that system. You understand? So that means it's really going to be hard for Rodrygo to obviously get into the starting 11. And with, hear this, and with the World Cup around the corner of 2026, Rodrygo would like to be part of the team that plays in the World Cup that is going to be hosted in 3 countries: Canada, US, and Mexico. You understand? That means that he would obviously be welcoming a move for a team that's obviously going to be making him a starter. And I tell you, at Arsenal, no player on the left side benches this player known as Rodrygo, and Trossard, Martinelli will be in problems if at all this player comes in through. Like I told you yesterday when I was discussing the story of Nico Williams, that Martinelli and Trossard will be in problem if at all, or in danger, when a player like Nico Williams comes in through. And when a Rodrygo kind of player comes in through, they'll be in trouble. And I think if you Arsenal and you notice that Rodrygo can also lead the line, you are really just going to go ahead and obviously get in one center forward in Gyökeres and sign a Rodrygo for a price that I think is really too much for him. 100 million euros. I think if Madrid sells him for 70, 80, I think that will be some huge amount of money for them to get. The other reason as to why they want to sell him, I think they want to get in money to obviously get in other signings. Remember, they want to bring in close to, they want to bring in a player, they want to bring in close to 6 players, They want to bring in close to 6 players, so all they need is to see to it that all goes on well as planned. And remember, he was in Santos and crossed from Santos to Real Madrid in 2019, and they paid 40 million pounds. That is close to 50, that is like 50 million euros for this kind of player. So that means if they sell him for 70, 80, they'll make a profit of times 2 the amount of money they bought him from Santos. That is the club of Arsenal for you. And I really understand why Arsenal is really interested in signing Rodrygo, because of how good he is and how he has earned experience at his young age when it comes to winning. This is a guy who has gone ahead to win the Champions League. To it that in I think 2019, it was Real Madrid that went ahead to win the Champions League. I remember they beat Liverpool. 2020, 2019, it was Real Madrid, though he was not part of the squad. He joined in the summer. 2020, Real Madrid, I think 2018. 2019 was Liverpool, right? Then 2020, it was Bayern Munich. 2021, it was Chelsea. 2022, Liverpool was beaten by Real Madrid. Rodrygo was part of that team that went ahead to win the Champions League. Then 2023, it was Man City. 2024, it was Real Madrid, meaning that he has so far won 2 Champions Leagues. And when we talk about the domestic trophies, he really has those in plenty. And that is Rodrygo for you, meaning that he's really one of those that has the best talent that you can talk about when it comes to obviously, or the best experience in winning those big trophies for the side known as Real Madrid, meaning that experience will be needed at the club of Arsenal. That means he's coming in through, will pave way for players like Trossard. Trossard might pave way. Trossard might pave way, and maybe he'll compete with Martinelli. So the Brazilian circle will be really increasing from Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhães, and then another 4th Brazilian will be really added to the circle. That is Rodrygo. But I think they are trying to obviously list options for the wide forwards that Arsenal will obviously go in for. Nico Williams, now we see to it that the guy known as Rodrygo is here. Florian Wirtz has decided to obviously go ahead and really play for a side called he has decided to go and play for a side called for side Bayern Munich. That means Arsenal is really having these 2 good options, and we want to see who they obviously going to be bringing in. That is Rodrygo for you. So inquiries have been made, and very soon we'll obviously get to know what is the real deal between Arsenal and Rodrygo. And as I told you, when the summer transfer kicks in, or when the summer transfer comes close, you know what really happens. Stories and stories and stories are really built onto this. Now, let's leave Rodrygo in here and see the players that are really leaving Arsenal. During the recently concluded international break, Jorginho found himself flying to Brazil to see to it that all goes on well as well with Flamengo. And guess what? We are told by Jordan Davis that Jorginho is considering interest in Brazil and MLS, but is also enjoying learning from Mikel Arteta and has been taking his coaching badges at London Conley. Jorginho would be happy to sign a rolling 1-year contract at Arsenal. This is what we got around the 26th. That maybe Jorginho would obviously stay at Arsenal to obviously keep learning on how to become a very good coach. Now, Fabrizio Romano came up on the 5th of May and he dropped a very big story that Jorginho set to join Flamengo on free transfer. Here we go. Plan confirmed since January and deal set to be sealed for the midfielder who is leaving Arsenal in June. 3-year deal until 3-year deal until 2028 at Flamengo, verbally agreed. As Venascagrade reports, Jorginho said yes. So that is exactly what has happened to Jorginho. He has chosen to obviously go and play for the side of he has chosen to play for the side of Flamengo and leave the side of Arsenal. A 3-year deal has been given to him. That means he'll stay there, and you never know, he might even become a coach from that side and maybe commence his coaching career that side. Something that will obviously be good for a player like Jorginho, a player that we've known as a very good midfielder for some time. Remember, most of the coaches that we've gone ahead to see that have come up to become the best coaches in the world have played in the midfield. Yeah, they've been midfielders, and Jorginho might be one of those. And to show you that he's really a special quality of a player and he's really going to be a very good coach, Mikel Arteta never wanted him to leave Arsenal because he knew to it that he is really going to become one of his assistants in the coming time when he retires from playing football. But Jorginho feels like his legs can go extra more for more 3 years. And Brazil being his home country, though he's playing for Italy, he knows to it that maybe he wants to go there and will experience a little bit of Brazil and feel at home once again. That is Jorginho for you. The big question remains, who is Arsenal going to be really bringing in to replace Jorginho at the club of Arsenal? So go into the comment section and let me know, who do you think, who should Arsenal really bring in to replace Jorginho at Arsenal? Remember, Thomas Partey is also going to be given a new contract, but you cannot rely on him because he has been an injury-prone player apart from this season. Ever since he joined Arsenal, for the past 4 seasons, he has been an injury-prone player. And for this season, when he needed a new contract, that's when he has gone ahead to play almost every game that crossed his face. So you can't really trust a player like him on occasions like this. If you know, you know. That is a player who goes by the names of Thomas Partey. So some of the replacements that have been mentioned, there is Zubimendi, there is a midfielder who plays in Germany. Does he play for Bayern Leverkusen? I've forgotten his name. The next time I come, I'll mention it. And the other one that is a talk about town is Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. Rokani David remains my name. Your reactions to Arsenal making Rodrygo in transfer inquiry are welcome in the comment section below. Bye-bye.